Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
All right, y'all, welcome in. I know it's been a few days since the biggest, in my opinion, one of the best pay-per-views I've ever been to. AEW All Out. We here to talk about it, review it, grade it, all that good stuff. The Real Big E, MJ Book, and Rob the Ambassador. How y'all feeling? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. You know, it was a crazy weekend, crazy good. Mike and I, we drove up Sunday, 5 hours, went to the show, drove back 5 hours Monday. Not a lot of downtime, but you know what, man, it was all worth it because we sat in on, like you said, one of the best pay-per-views in recent memory.
It's always good to be here. Of course, very interesting weekend, traveling down, watching the show, traveling back. I lost my voice earlier, and so it just finally came back a few hours ago, so I couldn't even work. But at least I was able to finally watch Snake Eyes. So I watched it, and I watched your review.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that at the end if
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
We'll talk. Yeah, I'm curious. All right, so we talked about it long enough on our shows. If you're a 3GW head, you know we attended All Out live. If you're new to the show, welcome. But we were there in person, and it was. I mean, start to finish. I mean, there's always a couple things that could be better, but I think even watching this at home, it would have been it would have kept my attention the way it did being there in person. There's nothing like being there in person because a few things happen, which we'll talk about. I posted a video on YouTube if y'all to go check it out. Oh man. Okay, so let's get down to business. On the buy-in, we had the 10-man tag team match: Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, and Jurassic Express taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party, and TH2. This was one of the better buy-in matches that they had. I don't really agree with Bleacher Report's grade. I actually thought this was pretty damn good, and it was entertaining. It's always good to see how over the Jurassic Express is. I just thought this would have fit on the card. So that tells you my grade right off the bat. I thought this was pay-per-view worthy. I had fun. The crowd was into it. Obviously, Jurassic Express picked up the win with this one. I mean, that was kind of a layup. But, yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun. It got me hyped up for the show. Rob?
I'm in agreement. And I think the reason why they had this one start, and I think it was a good choice because it was a good match, like you said. And that theme song by Jurassic Express, some people may hate that thing and the little sing-along that the crowd does with it, but I enjoy it. And it was great to be there and sing along with that silly little song. I just thought it was a good, energetic match to kind of get the crowd pumped and ready. And I enjoyed the match. I, like you, gave it pay-per-view worthy. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but yeah, it shocked me in a good way.
I'm in agreement as well. I gave it a pay-per-view worthy. It was a good way definitely to start out the whole card. Even though this was on the buy-in, this definitely could have fit in with the whole pay-per-view. But they already had a pretty stacked card, so something had to be on the buy-in, and unfortunately it was these guys, but they did a very good job. The Jurassic Express, of course, the sing-along, everybody was bopping and loving that and everything. Of course, it was good to see Orange Cassidy. Great to see the best friends. So they got the W. Great way to start. Pay-per-view worthy.
All right, get into the main show. Here we got the TNT Championship. Eddie Kingston challenging Miro. This surprised me. It really did. I don't know if I've ever seen Eddie Kingston have a better match, quite frankly. And I'm a Miro fan. I liked him when he was Rusev in WWE, and I think this is as over as Rusev was. I think this has the potential to be better. I like it. I think he takes it serious, and he wrestles better. It's like they let him wrestle his style, and him and Eddie Kingston had great chemistry. This match was hard hitting. They fought on the outside. I felt like this was great. The only thing was just the ending was a little cliche, kind of the ref doesn't see the low blow, and then Miro with the kick. But I mean, outside of that, I thought the match itself was executed very well. And while Eddie Kingston lost, he doesn't look bad in the loss because Miro didn't win clean. So I again, pay-per-view worthy. And I'm still enjoying the hell out of myself at this time at All Out. So, yeah. Book.
Can't go with you on this one. Unfortunately for me, I have to go TV quality. Not a total rip on the match. It was a better Eddie Kingston showing from him. Some odd reason, other than just the fact that I just wanted Miro to stomp him, I just didn't connect with the match for some reason. I wanted Miro to win. I was chanting and yelling for Miro, but for some odd reason, I just didn't get invested totally. And I thought I would get a little more invested considering I don't like Eddie Kingston. So don't know why, don't know what happened with this match, but I just wasn't feeling it totally. Not enough to make it middle of the road, but couldn't make it pay-per-view worthy. So TV quality, high TV quality, but TV quality.
Okay, well, I'm in agreement with Big E, although I see some of the points Book is trying to make, but I enjoyed this match. I gave it pay-per-view worthy. I knew it would be physical, and my worry was, would Eddie Kingston be able to put up a good enough show for the match to be interesting? And he did. I think Eddie probably, like you said, Big E, probably wrestled the best match that I have seen him wrestle. I admit that I don't watch AEW on the regular, so maybe I'm missing something, but as far as what I've seen from Eddie Kingston, this was the best I had seen from him. I really think Miro has grown into this character of the Redeemer, of God's favorite champion. I really think it's working for him. And I agree the ending was a little cliche, but with Miro being the heel, I thought it was heel shit and it worked. So, yeah, pay-per-view worthy for me on this one.
Right on. Right on. And I was hoping the good brother, the Inside Man, be able to join us tonight because I really wanted to get his thoughts on this next one because he is, him and Book are kind of the New Japan aficionados, experts.
Him a little more than me.
Yeah. But, talking Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. Book, I'm gonna let you kick it off here. What did you think of this match?
Oh, okay. Well, I know people were worried about Kojima because of his age, and I could totally understand it. But he's a great worker, and for those who had not seen him, I think we're pleasantly surprised. He didn't move around like somebody of his age, so he had a very good showing. Moxley was Moxley. I at the beginning of him there, I was loving him, but now I don't know what, but I think his act has worn so thin. I'm just seeing the same shit. And it's like, I need to see something else now. His act is worn. And unfortunately for Kojima, I had to give this a TV quality. I'm just over Moxley. I'm just over it. He just has not really impressed me. Most of his matches have been middle of the road or TV quality with me, except for Kenny Omega. So I don't know what it is, but again, it was another disconnect. Not Kojima, but all Moxley, TV quality.
Now, which Omega match are you talking? You're not talking about the barbed wire death match.
No, not that.
No, the lights out match, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to get clear on
lights
that.
out.
Yes. Yes.
All
The
right.
previous
I didn't think
matches
so,
before
but
that.
I just want to be sure. All right. Well, for me, I was pleasantly surprised because look, I have to admit, I had never heard of Kojima. I feel badly that I have not paid attention to New Japan because apparently I'm missing out on a lot of great matches, a lot of great wrestlers. So I didn't go into this one being particularly excited or expecting much, but I was pleasantly surprised. Kojima didn't look like he was 50 at all. This guy could have passed for late 30s, early 40s at the worst. And I thought this match crept into pay-per-view worthy. Okay. I thought it would be physical, and I thought these guys would put on a decent show, and they did. I'm going to give it pay-per-view worthy, but just it barely crept in there. And that doesn't mean it was a bad match. It was a solid match, but it just, like I said, not knowing Kojima. And so it's hard to get invested in a feud when you don't know one of the wrestlers. It's hard to get invested in the match and to really have that emotional attachment to it. But just from a straight wrestling match, just two guys going at it, I thought it was pretty good. So I'll give it pay-per-view worthy, but it just crept in there.
Okay. Well, I'm about to piss everybody off with this. Like Rob said, I'm not familiar with Kojima. And watching this match live and in person, and I'm looking around at the crowd, listening, and people sitting on their hands. So as was I, because I didn't care. And Book, like you just said as well, Moxley is just kind of getting old and stale too. So unfortunately, I gotta give this bullshit. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I just did not care. And as bad as another match is later, I just felt like this sucked the air out of the room. Like you went from 2 hot matches to silencing the whole arena until the post match. The post match woke everybody back up. So again, this is just my own personal thing. Sorry guys, but that's just where I'm at with it. But like I said, this match felt like it was just a setup anyway, because we would get the arrival of I don't want to mess this up. Was it Suzuki?
Minoru Suzuki.
And I mean, and these must look. People in Chicago recognize the music and everything. They knew who this was, and I'll appreciate that. I'll appreciate the back and forth. Him and Moxley going at it. They got a match tomorrow on Dynamite. So I appreciate all that, but the match itself, bell to bell, it ain't work for me.
You would appreciate this, Rob. Suzuki's got an MMA past.
You know what? I actually looked up Suzuki because when he came out, the crowd seemed to go wild. They really seemed to recognize who he was.
A legend.
Yeah, know his background. The screens referred to him as the King. So I was curious, and I Googled him, and yeah, this guy apparently has not just a wrestling background, but a pretty impressive mixed martial arts background. He actually is the innovator of a form of fighting that is pretty much his own, that he innovated. So I was impressed by what I found out about him. And I'll say this, even though I didn't know who he was, I could see the respect that Moxley had for both he and Tajima. Obviously, having wrestled in Japan and being familiar with these guys, you know, Moxley would do these things. He did this to both of them as a show of respect. I really enjoyed that and thought that was cool. And I'm looking forward to Wednesday night when he and Moxley will have a match.
All right. All right. Right on. Right on. Um, Getting into what I feel like was again one of the better matches on the card. Chris Statlander going up against Dr. Britt Baker DMD for the AEW Women's Championship. Looking back, I feel like this match went on a little early. It just felt like it could have went later in the card, but it's okay. It's all good. Chris Statlander has come a long way. I mean, from that very first, I want to say the first Double or Nothing,
Yes.
and those first couple AEW pay-per-views to now, her wrestling is way better, and she is a freak of nature. How strong she is, the feats of strength. I don't know if y'all noticed, they were trying to do some type of suplex off the top rope, and you could tell Chris Statlander did majority of the work with ease. And on Rampage, she not suplex, but she had two women. She was holding one, and one was on her shoulders, and she dropped both of them. I mean, she's ridiculously strong, and she looked strong in this match, even in the loss. But the real highlight of the match, though, let's keep it real, was Britt Baker hitting what they call the Pittsburgh Sunrise on Chris Statlander, and then hitting even the curb stomp, and she kicked out of all that, and then eventually submitted to Lockjaw. If you rewind the clock back to NXT TakeOver 36, Adam Cole used Lockjaw on Kyle O'Reilly. So it was kind of that subtle hint to kind of let people know that, yeah, he's here. This was probably, I dare say, the best women's match in AEW I've ever seen. And to be there in person, I don't know. Maybe I might just be overlooking something. I'll put that out there now. But it definitely is up there, top three, for sure. It's definitely top three. And the crowd reaction had played a part in that as well. I thought they were very animated, and especially when she hit that Pittsburgh Sunrise. That got a huge pop. But Britt Baker retains. No shame in losing to her. Chris Statlander one day will be champion, and she's gonna be a star. Rob, what'd you think? This was pay-per-view worthy for me. Sorry, but go ahead.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. All right. Well, look, I love this match. Up to this point, this was my favorite match of the night. And we have talked often about how the ladies in AEW really need to step their game up. And these two ladies did that on this huge stage in what everyone knew was probably the biggest pay-per-view AEW has ever had. And Chris Statlander, I missed the boop. But you know what? At the same time, I think it's better for her because I think you can take her more seriously as a competitor. I don't know what she did with her time away, but she has come back a completely different wrestler. She is so improved. And like you said, how strong she is, to me, it's only a matter of time before she is eventually champion. Right now, Britt Baker is still the right lady to be the champion, but I went superb on this one. All right. We've beat up the ladies on this show with AEW, and justifiably so. But you know what? Maybe it's the emotion. I'm there in person. It's a hot crowd. We've seen some decent matches up to this point. To me, this one was the best. And I was completely invested in this match. Going into it, I know who both of these ladies are, but at the beginning, did I really care who won? No, because I had already predicted that Britt Baker would win. But Chris Statlander, the way this match played out, the story they told, there was a couple of moments in that match I really believe she might actually win it. That's how great these women performed in this match. But it wasn't to be. Britt Baker won, but I was entertained all the way through, man, and I went superb on this one.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you. I was almost there. It's a high pay-per-view quality for me. Pay-per-view worthy. Sorry, pay-per-view worthy. All right, Book. I see the face, man. I'm just come on with it. Come on with it.
Alrighty. Obviously, we've talked about a lot the women's division needing to improve. That's coming a lot from me being very, very negative on that women's division. I have called it a piece of shit, trash. I've said it needs to be dumped. So I was nervous having to witness a women's match in front of me. Of course, Statlander is one of the main reasons because she had one of the worst damn matches I had ever seen. But she has tremendously improved. She is not the same person. If you told me that this Chris Statlander and that Chris Statlander were the same person, I just wouldn't believe you. She's completely morphed. She is completely changed. She obviously knew she had a lot of work to do, and she has clearly been working at her craft. And Britt Baker got the W, but I think the real winner in this is Chris Statlander because she really got to show what she can do. And she showed, hey, look, there may be other women you might be thinking are going to be a champion, but you need to start looking at me. So she impressed the hell out of me. I am not going to say it was superb, but I understand why you would say it. I'm going to agree, though, with the real Big E and say this is pay-per-view worthy. But definitely a very good match. I can't say that it was a top 3 women's match, but it's close. It's close to being up there. There's 2 or 3 I might be able to say we're a little better, but it's definitely on the high end, and there's not exactly a lot of them up there. So major props to these two. They did a great job. They showed that the women's division, there is hope as long as there's wrestlers like this in there. So pay-per-view worthy, high pay-per-view worthy.
Well, I think there is hope based on something that happens later. There's hope. There's a lot of hope in the women's division. Okay. I don't know if you're even ready to talk about this shit. Oh man. I we ran over the list of events that all of us have been to. And we talked about matches that we were emotionally involved in and that we'll never forget. I was there for that, this and that. Okay. Now, and when we talked about on the prediction show that this was going to be the show stealer, and by God, it was. No doubt, hands down. But even going into the show, no matter who was going to win, we knew this was going to be the best thing on the card. We had high expectations. As far as I'm concerned, they blew my expectations out of the water. No matter what I thought they were going to do, they absolutely fucking killed it. From the Lucha Bros entrance, even though I'm not familiar with the Hispanic rapper, but that was their theme song, and they came out and they had some pageantry. That's why I always said that All Out is AEW's WrestleMania. Because look at all the pageantry on the show, and you had the Bucks come out. I couldn't really tell what their outfits were a tribute to. I even looked on their social media. I still don't get it, but they were doing some kind of cosplay. And getting to the match, though, I said it before, I'll say it again. Rey Fenix is absolutely insane. He is a monster. There was a point in the match when he was walking the top of the cage. That was had a little scary moment, but he recovered. But man, and I had said before that there's a chance that they could do a spot off the top of the cage or somebody might get thrown through the cage. That didn't happen, but there was some props thrown into the cage that this is one of the things, the only downside to kind of being there live, you miss some things. I didn't realize that the Jordans that they threw in the ring had thumbtacks on the bottom of them. So when they did the super kick, that was why at the end you could tell that Penta was a bloody fucking mess. But you really really got to go back and watch this match if you don't watch anything else, and that's even including CM Punk on this card, okay? If you don't watch anything else, you have to watch this match. This is how you do it. This is how you do a cage match, period, point blank, period. Most cage matches are boring. This was not. This was exciting. I mean, edge of your seat. I don't know how many times I fell out because I thought it was the near falls. I bid on every single one of them. They got me. Okay. And I wanted Lucha Bros to win so bad, and they finally did. So I was just so happy. And I'm loving this. I'm loving the show. I'm loving the card. Great wrestling. The crowd is so hot in Chicago, and yeah, that's all. I could go on, but Ambassador, go ahead.
Okay, I had said on the prediction show that we had the chance to witness something extremely special in this match. And damn it, we did. We did. You know, from the moment when you're there in person, what happens? There are two big screens on either side of the ramp where they walk out. So you get to know what match is coming up based on what they're showing on the screen. So as soon as the crowd realizes this is the match coming up, the energy already goes up another level. And then the cage starts to lower and the crowd just gets hotter with anticipation. Biggie, you mentioned the entrance, and like you, I don't know who the gentlemen were who brought the Lucha Bros to the ring. And then Young Bucks come to the ring. All of the men are in the cage and the bell rings. And I'm telling you guys, we've all been to many shows in person, big shows. We've seen big matches. The energy in that arena throughout the whole course of this match, what these four men did, I mean, it's almost hard to put into words what we witnessed. It was absolutely amazing, incredible. It was everything that you would think these four men could do. And we've seen them go at it a few times, right? Does it ever get old?
2 years ago.
Is it ever anything less than absolutely epic and spectacular? Now, I'm not going to try to compare this to past matches. To me, all of their matches have been off the charts incredible. Look, my grade, Biggie, I don't know if I remember what your grade was, but obviously mine, this is an instant classic.
Oh, I didn't even give mine. Yes, instant classic. You couldn't tell from my excitement. It is an instant classic for sure. No doubt. Hands down, the best match on the card.
Okay, and I assumed that it was. For me, absolute instant classic. Like you, I had predicted the Lucha Bros to win. I wanted them to win, but the main reason why I wanted them to win is because, look, I have the utmost respect for the Young Bucks. I don't care whether they're heroes or not. I don't look at that. I look at what you bring to the ring, okay? And these are the two best tag teams in the world today, hands down, no contest. The Lucha Bros got over this time. I was happy for them. It was a great moment. But what I like even better about it is because the Lucha Bros got over, we know for sure we are going to see these four men wrestle each other again. And I am all about it. I can't wait for it. I can watch these four wrestle day after day after day. It would never get old. It would always be spectacular. This occasion was no different. But for me personally, it being there in person and being able to witness it and feel the energy in that arena, a moment in wrestling I will never, ever forget. Come on.
First, let me just move out of the way. Respect to this match. Hell of a match. Oh, it hurts me wearing this thing still. Obviously,
Keep it real. Keep it real.
I know it hurts. It still hurts, but I have not changing. I am still with my Young Bucks. They will eventually get the rematch and they will beat those motherfuckers' ass. But I'm sorry, I'm still pissed. But this match was exactly what we all knew it was going to be. Scene stealer, match of the night. I think I said that this will be a match that we will look at as possibly match of the year. And right now, hands down, it is. There's just nothing close to it right now. And I doubt something's going to beat it. And you could argue this could be match of the decade, match of the years 2000. You can argue this may be the greatest match that has ever happened in a wrestling ring. I'm definitely going to throw it out there. It is the greatest tag team match I've ever seen. Period. But
I would agree.
But that typically happens when you have the Young Bucks in there, and when you put them in there against the Luchas, it's almost a guarantee. Anything less would be, like the old commercials said, uncivilized. So this is an instant damn classic. I mean, it's just so obvious. Big time props to these two teams. Anytime they get in there, it's magic. I was privileged and I was honored to be able to watch it. I wish the Bucks would have won, obviously, because after the match was over, I had to have a few beers to sully my mood. But this was still an entertaining match. I did get to start a chant. I've never done that before, but I started chanting "Fight Forever" and people started chanting it. Rob even looked at me. You started that. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, you did.
So that I've never done before. And it's perfectly fitting that it would be with this match. Honored, privileged. This was an amazing show. I feel bad for anybody who ever has to wrestle again, especially in tag teams. That's what you're going to be always compared to, is that. Good luck. Instant classic. Wow. And
yeah, it was nuts.
I'm with this now.
It was nuts. I don't know. I thought my voice was gonna be gone after that match because I was into it. I felt bad for the lady sitting next to me. You know, her and her husband. He was into it. I don't know how much she seemed to be a semi-fan because she was recording a lot of stuff and she seemed familiar with most of the wrestlers, but you know, I've sat next to all kinds of people at these shows. So man, that match though.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was curious, what the hell could they put on after that? And I kind of figured, and I had been holding my water for quite a bit, and I didn't care what was next, damn it. I had to go. But it would indeed be the Casino Battle Royale for the women, and the winner would get a women's championship match. And so here's the order of entry. First was Clubs, Hikaru Shida, Sky Blue, Emi Sakura, The Bunny, and Abaddon. Diamonds was Anna Jay, Kiera Hogan, Kylan King, Diamante, and Nyla Rose. Hearts was Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, Riho, Jamie Hayter, and Big Swole. Spades, Ty Conti, Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, Jade Cargill, oh yeah, and Rebel, not Reba. And of course, the Joker, Ruby Soho, aka Ruby Riot, someone I had the pleasure of meeting back in 2019. She could have been a nicer person, and I'm so happy for her. The pop she got, that reaction was huge. She looked great. She wrestled great. And normally the Joker doesn't win these things, but I think she's the first Joker to win, male or female. And obviously she's signed with the company, and she's wrestling tomorrow night. She's making her Dynamite debut. Happy for her. Like I said, had the pleasure of meeting her on the way to Royal Rumble, and wish her nothing but the best. Again, this was consistent with the night as me. This was probably one of the better Casino Battle Royales. Now there was some, people didn't like some of the eliminations, how fast they happened, which I agree with. Some of them was a little quick, like Riho was out quick, Hikaru Shida was out quick. I think everybody and their mama thought Jade Cargill had this in the bag, and then she didn't. So, again, I still have to give this pay-per-view worthy. I thought it was fun. The crowd was still into this. They were into this, and I thought the women did a good job. And then that big pop from Ruby all helped this. So that's all I can see it. It was great. Rob, what'd you think?
Coming into this show, the hardest thing for me was the fact that we were there in person. I had to try to ask myself, okay, are you going to be bringing your emotions into this show? Are you going to be giving grades higher than you normally would because you're actually there? And then I just said, you know what? Damn it, I don't care. I went pay-per-view worthy on this one. This was a match I really particularly wasn't looking forward to. I thought that Ruby Soho might show up, but I didn't think that would be enough to make the match great if it wasn't great. You know what I mean? But I thought all these ladies did pretty well in a division, once again, that we have not been very nice to, justifiably. But Sunday night, I thought these women showed up, showed out, and then even though we kind of knew it was coming, actually seeing Ruby Soho, who is just such a nice lady, and it was such a nice moment for her. How could you not be happy about it? And so, yeah, for me, that elevated the match. So pay-per-view worthy for me. At this point on this card, I'm just so fucking glad I got tickets to this thing. I'm so fucking glad I'm here right now. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just having a great time at this point.
Yeah. Right on.
Once again, back with the women. And yeah, I was definitely nervous about this as well, because there are some women in there that are bleh. But I am going to actually give this pay-per-view worthy. I have to admit, though, there was a small bit of pleasure in seeing Jade Cargill get eliminated, because I got to look over to my left at somebody slumping in their chair, and it felt a little good. It felt good after what had just happened with my Young Bucks. I was like, okay, this feels a little good. It doesn't completely even it out, but it closes the gap a little bit for me. I said on this show, in the prediction show, I told you both, Ruby, Soho, I told you both she was going to show. Why y'all didn't know it, I have no idea. It was all over the place. I don't know what you were looking on, but it was there. So
we don't look.
I was trying not to follow the dirt sheets. I wanted the shot. I wanted the pop.
I wanted the surprise.
I knew she was going to be there, and thank God she was there. She, as good as the match was going, she greatly improved it. And I think I said it to you, Rob. If she wins this, it's a fuck you to Vince, because Vince, you never should have gotten rid of this woman. Of the women there, you could have gotten rid of Eva Marie. Nobody would have missed that bitch. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be blunt. Ruby is a talent, very talented. And as I've heard, and as you could probably vouch, Eric, a very sweet lady. Very nice and very kind. I've heard nothing but good things about her. So to see her win this, it just felt good. She deserved it. This was something she has been fighting for and never got the opportunity for it elsewhere. She got it right away here. It was great to see her win. I was glad to see her win. And it did up the grade a little bit to see her win this because she deserves it. She has fought so hard. She deserves this moment. So pay-per-view worthy, high pay-per-view worthy. Probably overall the best women's night AEW's had when they've had more than one women's match.
Yeah. I'll never forget that time. I saw her in the airport, and it was just an amazing way to kick off Royal Rumble that weekend. So it was I'll never forget it for sure.
That's for you, Ruby.
Yeah, I'm glad for you, Ruby. But as a quick aside, Big E, Chris Statlander, Jade Cargill face to face. Are you there for that?
Ooh, that's tough. That is tough. Ooh,
we're bound to see it sooner or later.
Yeah, but I
may see it sooner than later. You're probably going to see that sooner than later.
I just don't know who I would go for because I like them both, but maybe I like Chris Statlander a little more just because I appreciate how she's developed. So I would probably give her the nod, even though Jade Cargill is an absolute beast. And I mean that in the best way possible. I don't know. That's a toss-up right there. That'd be tough. That'd be tough. All right. So we ready to talk about the biggest troll job in wrestling history?
I loved it.
Oh, man. MJF, boy. I had to bow down after this one. This was pretty good. So I'm sure they showed it on the event too. So you get the Jericho, the countdown when he first debuted in WWF, and we're all like, "Oh, Jericho's going retro." Okay, and then the countdown ends, fade to black, pyro, and then you get the rollover letters that say Jericho's last match, and you know it's MJF. It's like, oh man, you got us. He got everybody.
He is one of the greatest heels already. He is a great heel. Fearless.
He got everybody with that one because the reaction was like, oh, only person, in our row, Rob was cracking up.
Oh, man. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And dare I say, and Book, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the late, great Roddy Piper was looking down and he was so proud. And he was saying, go on, young man.
That's what I said. No fear. Piper wore that shirt. No fear. The great heels, that's how you got to be. You have got to have no fear. Who cares if you piss off a kid? No fear.
Now, his entrance was flawless.
This was funny.
Jericho, however, man, I get it. Majority of the shows, everybody knows the words and we can sing along, but the song is playing in the background. So if we get off key, if we get off chorus, it's okay because the song's in the back. We can hear it. We're over here now. We all fucked that song up.
Y'all did.
I am not sure if we fucked it up or if that guitarist fucked it up.
Well, the guitarist did too, because he played the same section twice. So we all thought it was, okay, well, it is what it is, okay? It was
funny.
Awful.
It was hysterical.
Podcast, shout out to Wrestling Inc. podcast. They talked about it too. And they were like, yeah, something was wrong. And they really blamed the guitarist because he played the wrong section. He played the same section twice. Is really what he did. So the crowd went with it. Jericho seemed unfazed, but
I'm sure he was not unfazed when he got to the back.
He was probably thinking in his mind, like, yeah, that's not how you do it, but okay.
If they hire that guitarist more often, I might pay attention to the song more often.
That's his guitarist too. That was Fozzy.
I figured.
Much
I looked it up.
I figured.
Not much longer, at least not for wrestling shows.
Yeah, that was his boy. Like, you should. This is your song too, guy. I mean, how you fuck that up? But as far as the match, I thought this was okay. This was better than I thought it was gonna be. And I said during the match, I know people, at least I know Bookie talked about it. I think MJF is a better wrestler than they'll give him credit for, especially here. He was really telling the story in this match. And the only thing that took away from the match, really, normally Wardlow is, we expect Wardlow to get involved and all that stuff. But him and Jake Hager took away from this thing. It just seemed out of place, forced in there. I didn't care for that little. They didn't even make it to the ring. So I was like, what the hell was the point? But outside of that, I thought the psychology was good. Having a little trouble recalling everything from this match, but I do remember that it was solid. It was solid. I don't know that they quite reached pay-per-view quality, pay-per-view worthy, but I will give it TV quality, a high TV quality. And I caught off guard. I really thought MJF was going to win this match and we were going to see Jericho's last, but was not to be. As Jericho picks up the win, and he's going to be around. He's going to still be around. The Painmaker, Les Champions. All right, Book. I know you like MJF. What'd you think?
Well, maybe the guitarist, first off, maybe he had a little bit of the bubbly, and that's what happened, and he messed it up. But as far as the match, I've said it a few times about Jericho. It looks like he doesn't care, why should I? He showed in this match he cared. Now, eventually, the inevitable did occur that you could see him start to wear out. He did start to get tired. And normally, they keep the match going far too long when that happens. They didn't do that this time. They either knew, hey, Jericho might have given a clue, say, hey, look, I'm starting to gas. We need to bring it home. It's time to come home. Because it started to end relatively quick at that point, which was a good decision. Because once he gets tired, it starts to drag, and that's when things get bad. I'm actually going to give this pay-per-view worthy, but barely. Kind of a low pay-per-view worthy. And that's because Jericho lasted longer. He performed a lot better. In recent pay-per-views, this is probably the best Jericho has actually performed. And MJF, I've said he is a legendary heel, but his wrestling has been shit. It's just been shit. This is probably the best match he's had that I've seen recently in AEW. So maybe the time with Jericho is finally synced into that noggin. Let's see if it's something he can carry over and put together several matches like this. But if MJF can continue to do this, he may actually get to that level of being the greatest heel ever if he can get the wrestling in with how great a heel he is. But pay-per-view worthy, and I thought this was going to be the worst match of the night. And surprisingly, it wasn't, but just barely pay-per-view worthy.
For me, it was pay-per-view worthy, and it wasn't barely pay-per-view worthy. It was a solid pay-per-view worthy. I have spoken out about MJF and not being impressed with his wrestling skills, but Sunday night, completely different MJF for me. I have to tell you, this match, this was the first prediction I got wrong, by the way. And here's what I like about it. Why I'm cool with being wrong. This whole thing, the 5 stages that they went through, by the time this story was done, they had me convinced that this might be the last go around for Jericho. We've all talked about his conditioning right now. I'll say it that way. We've talked about how he's not quite the wrestler that he used to be. At his age, okay, fine. You know, look, man, I'm in my 50s. I'm not the man I used to be. I get it. But it's great storytelling when you can draw me in and have me convinced, okay, Jericho, he's really getting ready to say goodbye. And then the match starts and we see the retro entrance of Jericho. And I'm thinking, wow, so Jericho, he's going old school. This must really be it. But oh, guess what? That was MJF trolling. I mean, everything about this match, the way it played out was just had me hanging on everything they did. And then during the match, look, was this a great wrestling display by either guy? It wasn't great, but it was good enough to make it intriguing and to keep me engaged. You know, like I said, man, once again, at this point in the match, in the card, I'm like, what an epic night. And we're here watching it live and we have damn good seats. Yeah, pay-per-view worthy. Yeah, this was a solid match, a match that I had low expectations for. It exceeded those expectations. And I predicted Jericho to lose, but wow, what do you know? He won. And he looked pretty good doing it. Pay-per-view worthy. Enjoying all over this card at this point.
I think I forgot to mention earlier, you know, everybody goes to these wrestling shows and everybody wants to sit ringside or I want to sit on the floor. Unless you're like around the guardrail, you don't want to sit ringside because you can't see shit. It's just flat. There's no riser. Unless you're tall, you're not going to see a damn thing. I am okay with sitting higher up to see everything and just not be further away. My opinion, our seats were straight on. I could see the ramp and the ring. Those were perfect seats, no obstructed view. And we were at the bottom of the 200 section. So there's nobody sitting in front of us. Everybody's behind us. And we had the aisle seat. So it was absolutely perfect. Rob did a fantastic job getting these tickets. I mean, you do know you are the ticket guy from now on.
Hey, and that's okay, man. I'm good with that. And I got them at face value. Okay. Some people probably paid 5 or 10 times more than we paid for our tickets. We got ours at face value.
Oh, yeah. And that's all you, man. All props to you.
Big props to you. And one other thing, the crowd, some of the chants, particularly during this match,
man,
not an MJF pro crowd except for me and this section across the way. A few MJF chants.
These were some vicious chants all night, man.
Crowd was very salty. Very salty.
Here is what's great about that is that a heel is supposed to be hated. You're supposed to hate the heel. Now, sometimes a heel is so cool, people like him. But MJF is to me a great heel. Once again, I'm going to call out his name. Greatest heel of all time, I feel, Roddy Piper. So despicable, so fearless, unafraid to do or say anything, no matter how offensive it is. Most people are just going to hate that guy. And today in wrestling today, MJF is that guy.
He's a rarity. MJF is a Roddy Piper. For ECW fans, Dudley Boys, these were fearless heels. And it's only going to be more worth it somewhere down the line if they ever decide to do it, however they do it. Should he ever turn face, he'll be a huge, I don't think they should, but there's going to come a point where fans are just going to think he's just too cool.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
If he ever turns face, it'll be like Triple H, where it's like, okay, you've done so much, and he'll go away for a little bit and he'll come back and it's like, we're glad to see you. Yeah, I used to hate you, but now I respect the hell out of you. I like you. That's kind of how Triple H became this, babyface. He can never be a heel again. He could try, but it won't work.
Oh.
But yeah, there was a point in time I absolutely despised the sight of Triple H. That was his
Not
goal.
me.
Ugh.
Me.
Ugh. All right, Book. Got your sleeves?
Do I have my sleeves? You mean these?
Yeah, time to get straight edge, baby. Because we're talking about the straight edge superstar. The Chicago-made Punk, baby, is back in wrestling. And he's taking on Darby Allin in what was an incredible return to the ring that we were present to see. And it's just so cool singing along with the crowd, doing the cult of personality. And I even like Darby Allin's entrance, to be honest with you. I like Darby Allin a lot. I think he's fantastic. I think he's good. He's a homegrown. He's one of the very few homegrown superstars, and he's going to be a world champion one day, I believe. Punk obviously come out and gets a huge pop. Some concern maybe going into the match. It's been 7 years. How are you going to look? Is it going to be rusty? Is it going to be rusty? Personally, I thought for somebody that had not wrestled in an actual ring in a televised match, he looked fine. I didn't really catch any. There was no botches, for sure. If there was some rust, I couldn't see it from where we were sitting. Maybe if you're ringside, you catch little subtle things. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Maybe watching at home, maybe you do. I don't know. From where we were sitting, which was really good seats, could see everything. I thought he looked fine. I thought he took bumps well. Could tell that maybe he forgot how much those bumps hurt because he took one to the outside and he hit the guardrail and he kind of looked like, oh yeah, this does hurt.
That body hasn't been calloused in a while.
Yeah. But man, I thought these two had great chemistry. I like that Darby Allin went for the coffin drop and he sat up like the Undertaker and says he missed. I thought that was pretty funny. He hit the first GTS and Darby kind of fell out of the ring, so he couldn't cover him. But he would eventually hit Darby with a second one and get the win. I thought it was a great match. Obviously, the crowd participation was very, 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 very high on this one. And as it should, it's pay-per-view worthy. It was great. It was fun. I was into it. Punk being back, getting to see it. This is my second return Punk match that I've seen in person. I was there for Jericho Punk 2013 at Payback. And now I'm there once again for CM Punk taking on Darby Allin in a whole different wrestling promotion. So very fortunate to say that I've done that. And who better to be there with than my brothers in wrestling. So, yeah. Book. What'd you think?
Boy. I mean, first off, there you go. Got my CM Punk shirt there. Got to see the man CM Punk. Thought I would never see him again, hoping he would come back, knowing it wouldn't be in WWE, but I'm like, damn it, this career should not have ended this soon. And we got our tickets, and we knew there's a chance that maybe CM Punk might walk out and talk, but we damn sure weren't thinking wrestle. And when it got announced, CM Punk Darby, we all were giddy. We did a show that night. It was an amazing, amazing experience. And then they show them on that screen that that's the next match, and the energy level in the building. It's hard to describe it, but you could feel the energy just shoot all the way through you. And Darby, I'm glad Chicago treated him good, because they could have been cussing him out. Now, there was a few people, but he got a good pop. Darby got a good pop, and that's good. He deserves it. Darby is a very likable, very good, one of the best wrestlers, will be definitely AEW champion someday. But of course,
so they chanted Darby Allin after the match.
But of course, as soon as he's sitting in that ring, the chant starts, CM Punk, CM Punk. You hear that opening note and boom, the place blows up. An amazing, amazing scene. And CM Punk, was there any rust? There was some minor stuff, but so minor that it's just nitpicky. And it's stuff you can easily forgive. The guy hadn't been in there for quite a while. So the fact that it was just minute, completely forgivable. An amazing, amazing match. Maybe it's just the fact that I love CM Punk so much. Maybe it's a part of the environment. I try not to get the environment to force my grade up, but I don't give a shit because this will never be experienced again. I'm just going to call it an instant classic. I don't care. It wasn't just the wrestling, which was actually very, very good. It's the emotion, the feeling, the energy in that building. At one point, half the crowd seemed like they were chanting Darby Allin, CM Punk. All of a sudden, that chant started, and Darby had a pretty fair amount of people cheering for him there. Of course, they're probably just enjoying the moment, which, again, it was a great, great environment. Maybe I'm overgrading it, but I just have to be real. And it's such a unique environment, and that probably pushes it up a few grades. I could have just stayed at pay-per-view worthy, but the crowd pushes it. It's an instant classic. We will never see an event probably like that ever again. And as we've said numerous times, we were there, and that's probably what's going to push it. Instant classic. Damn amazing. Honored to have been there.
Well, damn, can't be mad about it. This is the shirt I wore Sunday night. All right. That's it. And if you're wondering if it's been washed, no, it hasn't. Okay. All right. I wanted all of the energy, everything that went with that night. I wanted it on this shirt for this podcast. I'll wash it tomorrow. Now, a couple of things. First of all, how many moments in wrestling are like the one we witnessed Sunday night? You have a legendary wrestler who left the biggest wrestling company in history. And it had gotten to the point where a lot of people thought this guy, he's done with wrestling. He's doing other things. He tried MMA and he's never going to come back. Now, when we bought our tickets, we thought maybe, possibly there were some rumblings, but we didn't really know. As the show came closer, what do you know? CM Punk is here. And then a couple of weeks ago, he's on Rampage, huge pop. So we know we're going to see CM Punk in his first match, his first wrestling match in 7 years. That is a significant moment in wrestling history, in all of wrestling history. And we were going to get to witness that. And Sunday night, we did. Now, was the match itself the most spectacular match or the greatest match ever? No. But was that moment one of the greatest moments ever in wrestling? Oh, hell yeah, it was. So even though I'm going to go pay-per-view worthy, Mike's grade of an instant classic, I am not mad about, because that moment in history, in wrestling history, is a classic moment. And people will be talking about it for years, and there will be hundreds of thousands of people swearing they were there, but the three of us know that we were there. Mm-hmm. So you have Darby Allin come out, and Darby Allin gets a huge pop, and deservedly so. He's a fan favorite. He's coming out with the icon Sting. I love how the whole match played out. Sting came out, but then he went backstage, class act, because he's not going to interfere with the match. He's going to let these two young men fight it out. And then, look, I'm a Living Color fan. I've seen these guys in concert twice. I love them. So when I hear that guitar riff, I'm pumped anyway. But when I know CM Punk is walking out to that riff, I'm on my feet. I'm singing along. My fist is in the air. It's like I'm at a damn concert. The adrenaline is off the charts. I love it. And we talked about, okay, ring rust. I don't know if I saw rust. I may have saw nerves. You're talking about a guy who's in front of his hometown hero in front of his hometown, fighting his first wrestling match in 7 years. So maybe there's some nerves, but I didn't see anything that I thought was, like Book said, a botch or egregious. I thought he looked smooth in there. Now, is he capable of better? Of course, we know CM Punk is capable of better, but this is his first match in 7 years. You know,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he exceeded my expectations because I expected to see some rust, and I would have been okay with that. He's been out of the ring 7 years, but solid match. And then at the end of it, Sting walks out. He's there for Darby.
Now, I gotta ask you: did you think Sting was gonna call him out?
Who
for like, you know, a feud, like future feud?
I really did.
It looked that way.
It almost did, but I think they planned it that way just to add to the drama. But in the end, I believe Sting, being the Sting that he is, was just going to show his respect. Hey, dude, it was a good battle. You were the better man tonight. And I think that was better. Everybody leaves happy because obviously the hometown hero gets over, but Darby Allin still looks strong and classy in a hard-fought loss. How can that scenario play out any better? So while the match itself was pay-per-view worthy, that moment is an instant classic. Because what's a classic? A classic is something that people are going to talk about for years to come, or maybe forever. For as long as there's wrestling, people are going to talk about this moment. It's a classic moment.
Well, there's another classic moment I want to talk about. This some shit I ain't never seen before. Any basketball, football, wrestling, concert. I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life. I knew we knew, okay, that Paul White and QT Marshall was put on this card because it was some bullshit and they wanted. It had to be a cool-off match, and they put it right after this, and I ain't never seen so many people get up and go to the bathroom in my life. Never, ever. I mean, check out the video on YouTube. It happened. I recorded that live as it happened. You could see droves of people getting up. Like, it looked like the event was over.
Look at all these motherfuckers getting up. Oh, wait. Look at this shit. All these motherfuckers.
I've only seen something like that happen one time, and that's when I went to Garth Brooks, and his wife went and performed 2 or 3 songs, and guys just left in droves.
Oh.
I felt real bad for her. It's like, oof.
Yeah. But I think we all know that, hey, you know, Paul White, you've been wrestling since 1997, bruh. Just hang it up. You have nothing to prove. You can be backstage and on commentary doing interviews, and it's fine. We respect you. You did you've given your contributions to the business. Nobody's gonna, disrespect you or anything like that unless you keep doing shit like this. Cause this was ass. This could go fuck itself, okay? Get the fuck off my show. Okay, I'm riding high, riding this wave, and then they put this bullshit out here that we all knew. And I thought there was a shred of a chance that QT Marshall would get the win because he needs it. But at the end of the day, once the bell rang and I saw Paul White stand across from him, I said, no. Let's end this. Rob said it when we were there. This is going to be quick, and it was. I don't think it went 5 minutes, and it was stupid, pointless, worthless, GFY. I hate to put that on such a fantastic card, but I didn't do it. Tony Khan did that shit. There it is. Rob, Go on, tell them and keep it real. Don't hold back.
Well, look now. I'm gonna say one nice thing. I feel bad for Big Show. Look, say what you want to about him. Dude is a Hall of Famer. He's given a lot to this business. But fuck, man. I mean, I describe that moment. I describe that moment of like turning the light, like roaches when you turn the lights on. They just go running. I had never seen anything like this. When the Punk Allen match ended, and then I referenced earlier the video screens that would indicate to you what the next match was. As soon as that image came up, people in droves headed for the exits. I'm hoping that Big Show has not seen this or doesn't know about it. Because, man.
How can he not? I mean, damn, the half the arena was gone.
I feel bad for dude, but it was so fucking funny, though. And the match was, like hilarious. I said, it was, look, I'm going to say it was bullshit, but that's not my grade. I got to go GFY on it. I hate, like you, Big E, I hate to put that on this card. This card is spectacular at this point, but I don't know why AEW, look, why couldn't they give us Malachi Black in a rematch? Look, we know he just squashed Brock Anderson, but why not just give us a rematch anyway? Just give us
no.
Okay.
He just squashed Big Shotty Lee Johnson.
Okay. Well, look, give us anything. Here's I'll say this. Look, let's just say Malachi Black against anyone. Do you think people get up and leave the arena in droves like that?
No.
Yeah. So that's my point. Instead, they gave us Big Show against QT Marshall in a match that people just didn't give a damn about. They just didn't care. So what did you expect to happen? And unfortunately, the worst case scenario played out. The only way it could have been worse is if the entire damn arena got up and walked out. But
it looked like it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we've talked about this. We've been to a lot of shows, and I'm going to end here so that book can go on. I have never seen anything like that before, and the fact that we're talking about what happened before the match more than we're talking about the actual match just tells you what an unbelievable moment it was. The match itself, GFY, okay, but that moment was an instant classic because I have never seen anything like that, and people are going to be talking about that more than they're going to be talking about the match itself.
Okay. I am proud to say that I was one of those people that got up and walked away. Now, I had a mission because I was there to make sure that a good friend of mine left with merchandise from there. And I knew that was going to be the only chance I was going to have. But I was still there long enough to see all the people leaving, which is absolutely hysterical. I felt bad for Paul White. Big time feel bad for Paul White. Dude he is a Hall of Famer. He's done a lot for this sport. For a big man, he is a very unique big man because his gas tank for a very long time just never seemed to empty. So he's a very unique big man and a very nice guy from what I've heard. So I felt bad for him. As far as the match goes, obviously I walked away. I didn't see it until that night. I watched it on YouTube. So I have actually seen the match now. So I can actually grade it. And, well, come on, people. I mean, come on. I mean, what else could it friggin' be?
I was wondering when the fireball was going to come out.
What else could this be? There we go. Woo! Listeners, say it with me. say it loud and motherfucking proud. That shit was a flaming dumpster fire of a fucking F. Now, of course it's going to be an F. Now, to Rob's your argument of putting something else there, the reason I say no is because we've seen this too many times. When you have a high emotional match, the energy is dumped. The crowd needs a moment to relax. And that is where you put the shit. You put it right there. It has to be there. And I don't want to see Malachi Black in the shit. No, you put the shittiest wrestlers you have and you put them in there. Because in the end of the day, nobody gonna care. People care about Malachi Black, and he just would not get the right entrance because the crowd is drained. So it was the right choice to put this match there. And once CM Punk came out, you knew exactly what was going to be next, and it had to be. So they made the right choice. But still, the match was pathetic. It was horrible. It was a fucking F. But in a way, they did the job right. They put the right match there. Is there any other match on the card that should have been there? No, not really. So this card is still perfect. That was the right move to put this match right there. So I'm giving it an F, but it's a weird F because they did this right. It's weird. I don't know what else to say, man. Just weird. But because that was so weird, I'm going to do 2 because this match was so bad. This match was so bad.
Oh, man. Well, as Book gets more and more intoxicated, we're going to talk about the main event, which would be Christian Cage taking on Kenny Omega for the AEW Championship. Now, I do think this was a really good match on paper. I mean, bell to bell, it was great. Kenny, this was probably the best I've seen Kenny in AEW. Outside that Moxley match we talked about, I think this is the best I've seen Kenny. And even more kudos go to Christian Cage because this is somebody that was like done with wrestling for medical reasons. And for him to come back, be in incredible shape, and be able to put on a match, 2 matches, really, like he's done. I mean, even when he won the Impact Championship, that was a great match. And then now to put on this one, which is, to me, better. And the crowd being into it. And I said, if he gets Christian up on his shoulders, y'all know this game over. Not only did he get Christian up on his shoulders, but he did it from the turnbuckle and the avalanche one-winged angel. That shit was nuts. I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. You ain't getting enough from that partner. And but ain't no shame in losing to Kenny Omega, especially in that fashion. So I am going to say this was still pay-per-view worthy. Still saying pay-per-view worthy. Look, I never given out this many. This is the antithesis to SummerSlam, where we were just saying fuck this the whole show. We're at least giving a majority of these matches pay-per-view worthy, and that tells me this is a great card. Pay-per-view worthy is not a bad grade. It's a great grade as a matter of fact. But when I compare matches to Lucha Bros and Young Bucks, it's just where it stacks up. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. We're gonna talk about the post match here in a little bit, but go ahead. What did you think? You're the Omega man. You're the Omega fan. What did you think? I know you're glad at least somebody on the show that you were going for one. So
yeah,
good.
Yeah, there we go. Finally, my night improved. And I got to see Kenny, my God, Omega. Now, again, maybe my emotion is getting the better of me. But I love Kenny Omega, and I honestly thought I would go my entire life never seeing that man wrestle in front of my eyes. You couldn't tell, but I was holding back a little bit of emotion finally seeing Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in front of me. But Kenny Omega just a little bit more. And again, it may be the emotion getting to me, but I don't care. I'm calling it an instant classic. I don't care. I was so joyful watching Kenny Omega, and Christian did a great job too. This was a very good match. This was not a bad match. It wasn't boring whatsoever. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, after seeing the Bucks lose, CM Punk won, this match was going to determine my night in a way, because as depressed as I was when I left, I'd have been hellified depressed if Kenny Omega had lost that match in front of me too. Both my belts that I brought with me, and they both friggin' lose, I'd have been in the shits. So thank you to Kenny, my God, Omega. And again, I don't care how it sounds. I'm calling it an instant classic, not only because the match was very good, but the feeling and the emotion, maybe not totally all from the crowd who was in this match, but just for me personally to see that man. I put that right there next to meeting Piper, was watching Kenny Omega wrestle. It was a privilege and an honor, and I am so thankful I got to see that man, and thank goodness he won. But I think we all know the belt is not going to be on his shoulders a whole lot longer. But he won at least this night. Instant classic. Overgrading it, but I don't care.
I'm not mad about it. Oh, go ahead, Biggie.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, as one of my new favorite wrestlers would say, TikTok.
Oh,
okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, we've often debated on this show, and we don't have to debate it tonight. Who is the best wrestler in the world? And, okay, I just said we don't have to debate it tonight.
He said he just did it.
Allergies.
Okay.
Yeah,
allergies,
that's okay.
Man. They've been acting up all day.
Sorry, I had to cough.
Well, I'm just going to go on with my review without getting into that discussion. But I think we all can agree that Kenny Omega is without a doubt one of the best wrestlers in the world, one of the best wrestlers in history. So for me, look, like both of you, we've had the honor and privilege of seeing many great wrestlers in person. And now I get to add another one to my list, Kenny Omega. I'm late to the party on him. I've said that. I didn't follow his career in New Japan. So now I'm following it in AEW, and we went to our first AEW show, and it was an honor to be there and to see him in person. I wasn't excited about the main event between him and Cage. I would have preferred it be Hangman. We had just a few weeks ago seen him fight Cage for the Impact title. Cage got over, so I didn't figure Cage would get over Sunday night, and he didn't. But was the match good? Yes. I won't say instant classic, but I'm not mad that Book did. I'll go pay-per-view worthy, but it was a good match. And that one-winged angel from the top rope, man, I mean, the only one-winged angel I can think worse than that was Sammy Guevara.
I knew you'd go there.
Stadium stampede.
I knew you'd go there.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was insane.
Exactly. But I got to see this one with my own eyes. I got to see Kenny Omega with my own eyes. And then we're going to get to it. So, without further ado, let's just get to the post-match.
Well, we knew there had to be something. They were dragging this thing out. Christian was still laid out in the ring, didn't move a muscle. And lights go out. And Adam Cole comes out, music hits, and Baby is in the building. And everybody thinks he's gonna, well, not me. I know how this goes.
Yeah, not me either.
You didn't get me this time. I know you one of Omega's boys, and it was a shock that he didn't come sooner. So the fact that he pretty much joined the elite and but the thing that pissed me off is he had the nerve, the gall, the audacity to say that that was the best faction in wrestling history. You fucking Judas, you cannot say that the UE didn't dominate for what 3 or 4 years in NXT. Come on now, let's be real. Undisputed Era was the shit. Okay, I have my photo taken with Undisputed Era. They will always hold a special place in this wrestling fan's heart. Okay, but I did expect him to join the elite. That didn't shock me. What did shock me was not only did we get Adam Cole, but we got Bryan Danielson, who came out right after. And I'm like, well, damn, AEW, you gonna blow your whole load in one night? There's not much left, but I guess if you're gonna, if they really wanted to fire back at WWE, because WWE pulled Brock Lesnar out of their asshole, because they really did, this is how you combat that. And did y'all notice Bryan Danielson's hair? Ironically, the same as Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Beard and hair, the same. But I actually would expect that from Daniel Bryan. That look, it's just still getting used to Brock having that look, but it's all good. I like him with the beard. He looks menacing with that beard, even though he's kind of a babyface now. What a night. What a damn night. And Bryan Danielson had cut one of the best promos you could give a crowd. I mean, he really pulled them heartstrings, and he just, you could tell he was just speaking from the heart, and he kept it real. He said, look, I'm a wrestler. I've gotten in trouble for saying professional wrestling on TV, and I don't care. That's my job. That's what I do. That's what I'm here to do. And AEW, let's fucking go. And I was like, hell yeah. Vince, you may not think, you really truly may not believe that AEW is competition. Maybe you think you're confusing AEW with ROH. I don't know. But using troubles, buddy. And there's two more names that are rumored to go to AEW. I think y'all know one. But, yeah. Rob, your reaction to the two. I think one you was more surprised than the other, but hey.
Well, I definitely was. I didn't expect Adam Cole, only because he had just finished his run in NXT. We saw that match he had with O'Reilly at 36, and I just didn't think there would be that quick of a turnaround. And so for me, that was shocking. I love the way it played out, where he came out. Everybody thought he was going to, I don't know why people thought Adam Cole all of a sudden was going to be the face. He was always a heel in NXT with Undisputed Era. I mean, he was the biggest heel maybe they've had in NXT. Okay, so that didn't shock me when he turned on Christian and joined Omega and the Elite. That didn't surprise me at all. And another thing I'll say about Adam Cole, the music they have for him in AEW is much better than that shit they had for him. The second song, the most recent song they had for him in NXT. Yeah. So the music, and I love the shirt that they have for him. And then Danielson coming out. I mean, look, once again, I'm going to say it. And I don't care if people think I'm just hyping it up because we were there in person. Although I think most people will agree with me, being honest. What we saw was not just a great wrestling card. We saw a historic shift in wrestling. AEW went from being, okay, the new kids on the block, the David to WWE's Goliath, to maybe shifting it into their favor. It may, and I'm not saying that they're going to have more people watching AEW right now than WWE, but the buzz that they have gotten from this show, the reception from anyone who saw, first of all, we all know that this is their biggest pay-per-view ever. Okay, so, and you can attribute that to Punk, that's fine. But the fact is that the people who watched it just saw how great AEW is. The people who watched it know that now Adam Cole, one of the hottest young talents on NXT, is with AEW. Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan, now with AEW. Big E, you talked about the other rumored wrestlers who could be coming to AEW. We saw the wrestling industry change Sunday night. It's completely changed. The playing field is completely different. AEW is not just that new kid on the block. They are a legitimate threat to the popularity of WWE. The game has changed. The game has changed, and AEW is trending way upward. WWE, at the very best, they are trending steady. But I think a lot of people would agree that they're actually trending downward. The game has changed. AEW is here to stay, and they are a big time player in the wrestling industry.
Well, let's get him out the way first. I'm late to the NXT party. I have said it. I'm starting to watch. Unfortunately, when it comes to Adam Cole, the last few things I saw him in, I wasn't impressed. So I'm still waiting to see what the deal is with Adam Cole. Not saying I'm hating on him or anything. I want to see it. I want to see what I've been hearing about. I just haven't seen it. So in NXT at the end, you didn't show it to me. AEW, I'm hoping you're going to show me what the deal is with Adam Cole, because I want to see it. I want to see what people say about him, how they feel about him, why they feel the way they feel about the guy. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Hopefully they'll do this right. So that's that guy. Now, that dude. Well, we all knew that there was a very high possibility that he was going to show. We discussed it on the prediction show. We felt that he might show. I originally thought he might show during CM Punk and Darby, but once Sting said he was going to go to the back, I was like, okay, he's not going to show there. That only leaves one match for that man to show. And that's the main event, the AEW title match. And as soon as Adam Cole came out, I was like, yep, because there's no way in the world that Adam Cole is coming out here to be a face. No way. The one thing I do know is he's always been a heel. So that it was just obvious that he was going to be a heel. They're not going to end the show with a heel type thing like that. They're going to end it with a huge buzz. And that had to be the yes man himself, who, of course, if you notice, he never did it because he can't do it because it's copyrighted by the WWE. So I don't know what they're going to do. If maybe he'll just say, yeah, or different hand motions. Who knows? They're going to have to come up with something because the yes chant is never going to go away. This was, you said it, Rob, a game changer, an event. Eric, I think you'll appreciate this because you'll remember this. This was similar in some respects to how it felt when the big man and the medium-sized man showed up in WCW, and that was Kevin Nash and Scott Hall.
Yeah. Outsiders.
When they first walked out, right there, there was a shift, and you could feel it. Whether you were in the arena or whether you were watching, you felt, okay, something's changed here.
But the beauty about that was the lack of awareness, the lack of knowledge that was going to happen.
That's the difference.
I believe Lex Luger debuted.
Technology. That's the difference.
Lex Luger debuted shortly after that, and he was on the.
Lex was on the first He was on the
He
first
was on
Nitro.
the same, but he was on both shows, wasn't he? Or was that Bret Hart?
Oh, the same night? That's Ravishing Rick Rude.
Or was it Rick Rude?
That was Rick Rude. It was on
Rick
both.
Rude.
It was on
Okay.
both shows at the same night.
That was Rick Rude, yeah. It was just nuts. Rick Rude. I hate that I came in to wrestling so late and didn't get to really appreciate his wrestling career. But I will say this: as a manager, when he was managing Kurt Hennig, I couldn't stand that man. Like, Kurt Hennig was an asshole by himself. He didn't need no help. AKA Mr. Perfect. But oh man, Rick Rude. And I went back and watched some old Rick Rude matches, especially him and Sting. Oh man.
Yep.
Ravishing, yes, ravishing Rick Rude. Dude was ripped to the bone and a complete asshole. But that's where a lot of people get their stuff from. So many people have tried to be Rick Rude. It's unreal. And there will never be another one.
Yeah, Big E, if you remember, I was wearing a Rick Rude t-shirt, a cutoff t-shirt, the weekend of WrestleMania 24. If you look at some of the old pictures that we took, I was wearing a Rick Rude shirt. That he was my dude. One of my dudes.
Yeah, that was really, it hurt, man. That was part of my childhood. Him and Kurt Hennig, man. That sucked. But yeah, we got a lot. I keep saying this is a great time to be a wrestling fan. You know, all these memes and pictures on social media saying that it's not the Monday Night Wars because the shows on different nights and everything. But it is a wrestling war. Vince, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to think it. You don't have to acknowledge it, okay? But it's here. And quite frankly, WWE, as much as WrestleMania was great, it was the first show back with fans, and there was a lot of fan service. This was a professional wrestling show that we had the honor and privilege to be a part of, and it was fantastic. If you're telling me you had 10 matches and only 2 of them, well, most people just won, but for this guy, 2 of them fell a little short. That's still fantastic. There was no poor execution. There was no bringing somebody back and then effing that up like WWE did. Like, they squandered Becky Lynch. Nobody on this podcast hates Becky Lynch. That's not the problem. We all like her. She's earned her spot. But damn it, you cannot do it that way. That's point blank, period. The way they handled the returns and the surprises at All Out AEW, hats off to you. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I don't know how long we've been going, but I'm sure it's coming up on 2 hours. So we're going to have to close this out. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching on YouTube. We appreciate you all. We had a fantastic time going All Out. It was great. I got to meet Caesar Bononi before the show, as well as Peter Avalon was out there as well at the pre-show, and we even got to sit out in front of Colt Cabana's podcast while he was recording. So, you know, it was all as all encompasses as it possibly could be. You know, obviously we could have gone to Dynamite / Rampage, but you know, work schedules wouldn't allow that. But I think we still had a good time. We had a great time. And, you know, we got a lot of compliments on our championship belts, compliments on shirts. I mean, it was a great time. It was great. And then I said this, that's the last thing I'm going to say. There's no other sport, event type, genre where fans can congregate and not know anybody from a can of paint, but sit and talk as if you've known them for years. You can't do it at any other. I mean, you might get lucky at a Bears game or a football game, but, you know, 49ers for Book, Broncos for Rob. You know, you might get lucky there, but it's still that hesitation to really high five a stranger at a football game or a basketball game. at a wrestling show, there is zero hesitation. I don't know this person sitting next to me. I don't know all these people surrounding me, but damn it, I can hold my phone up and shoot a video and everybody interacts. There's no other thing like it. So for all you people out there dissing on it, keep hating. I don't care. It just drives me because I know for a fact that there is a strong following. People love this. So that's it. That's all I got. Final thoughts, Rob. Take it away.
Well, very quickly, you mentioned all of the great people we met. You mentioned some of the wrestlers that you met, but we just met a lot of great people. I want to mention one gentleman by his name because I do remember his name, Renee. He was there with his 12-year-old granddaughter. He's a Vietnam veteran. We want to thank you for your service. We enjoyed meeting you and talking to you. We enjoyed meeting all of you folks who we met and talked with. And to all of the fans listening, we appreciate y'all, and we want some show ideas. Biggie, you said it so great. Wrestling fans are just some of the greatest fans in the world. It was a great experience.
Definitely agree. I've been to some pretty good shows. WrestleMania, of course, is always going to hold a special spot in my heart. Finally going to a WrestleMania. Got to see Taker and Shawn. That will always hold an extremely special spot in my heart. But this might have even surpassed that night. And that's because of the total of the matches. I mean, CM Punk, you have the greatest tag team matchup in history. For me, finally seeing Kenny Omega, meeting some great people, the funny moments, the guitar riff that was messed up, the whole crowd getting up from QT Marshall and Paul White. I mean, just all kinds of stupid, silly little moments. This was a good night. A perfect night of wrestling. And you said it earlier, Eric. We can say we were there. There are a lot of people that are going to just lie their ass off and say they were there. But we actually were there. Amazing.
Oh, yeah. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Third Generation Wrestling Podcast, and also as well as YouTube. We appreciate you all for watching, listening. And please go get vaccinated so we can stop wearing masks at these damn shows because they are a pain in the ass. But again, we thank you, appreciate you, we love you, take care. We'll speak to y'all again next week.